Welcome to our Robo Wars Wildcard Special. Tonight we'll be allowing some brand new machines to enter the arena to go up against veterans from Robot Wars at a chance of getting free entry into Series 3 next year. 8 new machines will be entering the Warzone to take on 8 veterans. And it doesn't really matter if they win or not. All that matters is they provide us with a good fight and show serious promise. So let's head to the battle board and see how it looks. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing the new blood for next year. Firestorm with the lifting arm up against the Combine Harvester. Tornado with the interchangeable weaponry up against the Crushing Claws and the Spinning Blade of the Kraken. Mortis with the lifting arm and the Tanto Axe Blade up against Bruce Banner as the Hulk Smash. The Flipper of Spawn again up against Steel Scorpion. We actually saw them back in Series 1, funnily enough. They're back again, trying to get into Series 3. TR2 with the CO2 Flipper up against the lifting arm of Forced. The vertical flywheel of Vader up against the interesting machine Mineshaft. Chaos 2 with the CO2 Flipper up against the Axe of Knockout. And then our new reigning champion Sub-Zero up against the super heavyweights with the CO2 Flipper, Toro. Let the wildcard competition begin! Firestorm Flipper. Quite a surprise that they didn't go further than what they actually did. Smidsy were the ones to put an end to that. The low front is designed to make the machine able to easily get underneath any other machine for the front flipping arm, but there is a high ground clearance at the rear, and the arm is very slow. Harvester Spinner! Designed to look like a tractor, which it sort of pulls off. The front mulcher on the front of the machine will help them turn their opponents into metal compost, and the rear spikes to add additional protection. But the big exposed wheels give the machine a very high ground clearance which can be taken advantage of, and the wheels each have a separate drive chain, which are all exposed.
Roboteers, stand by.
Firestorm with the flipping arm and the rear spike, and Harvester, 2 spikes at the back, and the front Combine Harvester Blade, I think that's what that is?
2,
Or Mulcher?
1.
Something like that. Whatever you have on tractors, I don't know. I don't drive one. Because I don't live in the countryside. But why would you drive a farm? Anyway. Oh, look at this! Harvester underneath Firestorm! Well, that wasn't expected. And now holding Firestorm against the wall. And now Firestorm trying to drive! But what's happened here? Firestorm! What's happened? There's something wrong! Look at this! Up come the spikes, Firestorm! Over top on Harvester, and there's the slam! And I think the rear spike of Firestorm's embedded itself in the floor. It is! It's embedded itself in the wall! Between the wall and the floor! And that's why they can't get any purchase! They are stuck! They are immobilized! I don't believe it! Harvester has pulled off the greatest upset so far! I don't believe it, Harvester! Get the victory! They've won! They've 100% made it into Series 3! How about that? Talk about an upset! And it's only the first fight of the night! Harvester, they win! That is such a surprise! They instantly go through to Series 3! What happened to Firestorm? You're gonna have to get rid of that spike for next year, guys. That's what screwed you over! Holy cow! Next up, Tornado and the Kraken. Will we have a similar fate there? Or will the newbies crash? I'm not jinxing it, let's just get into it! Tornado Rambot. The main weapon for Tornado, despite what's on the front, is actually brute force. and with how compact the machine is, they can dish out the slams and come out completely unscathed, which can be beneficial as well as being able to run upside down. Unfortunately, it doesn't protect it from flippers, which are known to give it a hard time. The Kraken Spinner! A dark, lethal creature armed with 2 crushing pincers and a drop saw with a small little blob to help get underneath its prey. The drive on this machine is actually quite impressive, and it's proven that it can self-right. The claws also have lots of holes drilled through them to keep the weight down, like with a razor, but the claws also give the machine an issue with ground clearance, and that could be costly.
Robot ears, stand by.
Tornado with the brute force and spinning drum, and the Kraken with the crushing claws, and the drop circular saw.
3, 2, 1.
So who will be, well, oh, look at that tornado on top of Kraken, but I think there's smoke. Look at this. There, look at that. The drum of tornado hits the weaponry of the Kraken, and that could prove very fatal. And now the Kraken pinned against the wall, free now, and Tornado now under pressure from the Kraken. The Kraken spinning away and once again catching its prey, the Tornado. How does a Kraken catch a tornado? Shouldn't it be the other way around? I don't know. I'm not a storm chaser. Anyway, the Kraken still on top. Tornado stuck on the front claw and are struggling to get free. Actually, they're free now. And almost like Tornado has a love affair with being inside the clutches of the Kraken. And now pushing away at the Kraken. And now the Kraken pinning itself up on the wall by its own weapon. And now Tornado driving in on the Kraken, driving them towards the spikes. And I think the Kraken may have broken down here. There's no movement. And it is a shame because they had done such a great job early on. And now the Pit of Oblivion is looming for the Kraken. Down they go into the pit. And it's Tornado with, I think, their only victory for the entirety of Series 2. They haven't had a great run this series, Tornado. But this way, they at least get to make up for it. And with a very, very good fight. But I think Kraken deserves Series 3. A very good performance from the Kraken. A great show of control and dominance, actually, over Tornado. Very surprising. But Tornado, they come out on top. Hopefully, though, we do see the Kraken next year. But now, it's up for Battle 3 with Mortis and the Hulk Smash. Mortis. Axebot. The silicon carbide coated armor did help Mortis take hit after hit in this series. Too bad we didn't see much else from them. The Tanto Axe is still a blade we are told to look out for, and the lifting arm can still right them when flipped. Too bad they can't do anything about the ground clearance. The Hulk Smash! Spinner! Bruce Banner seems to have turned himself into a machine. The bot can run both ways up, meaning they can keep going, and the front blade can help dish out some damage. But there is a bit of ground clearance making it easy for a flipper to get underneath and throw it over, and its armor isn't all that strong.
Robot ears, stand by.
Mortis, with the Tanto Axe blade and the lifting arm and the silicon carbide armor, and the Hulk Smash, Invertible with the front grinding blades. I think they nicked that off a lawnmower.
3, 2, 1.
Or at least fashion it off. Oh, that's a problem, isn't it? The sidearm has come off immediately. But they don't put that on properly. Ugh, that's a worry. Although, doesn't seem to be causing them too much of a problem. Up and over. They can drive both ways up. 2 spinning blades. Okay, not like a lawnmower. Never mind then. Lifted up by Mortisto and flung up onto their weapon. Now that's intriguing. They're stuck on the wall. And that's actually a good attack there. And Mortis could have just left them, really. Look at this again. Lift up from a side, and then they fall on the wall, and then they fall front on their face. Brilliant. Now Mortis again, and the Hulk smash. Well, credit where credit's due. They're living up to their name. Is there an axe going between the blades? That's actually rather entertaining. The Hulk smash now against the wall, and Mortis flipping them with their axe and throwing them onto the back. And now down comes their blade, and ooh, hello. Trying a little pincer movement, are they? Now trying for again. Look at this. Mortis throws them with their axe. They're now on the wall. Mortis drops their axe and then comes in with the lifting arm to hoist them into the air to no real avail. Now, that's very interesting, and they're trying it again. I don't think it's going to work really on the Hulk smash. Oh, that nearly went badly for Mortis down the pit. Trying to lift them again, and now pushing the Hulk smash towards the pit. They're on the edge of it. There's no coming back. And I think it's the end of the Hulk smash. Down they go. A great effort as the Hulk smash lies in the pit. And now, what? Mortis, what are you doing? Why are you playing with this spike for? You weird. Well, I guess maybe they want to go up and over. It's not going to happen. Caesar's called. And Mortis winners. And easily too. Credit where credit's due though. The Hulk smash didn't give up. They kept coming back on Mortis. But Mortis, I think they just had way more advantages. Especially with the lifting arm. Hopefully we do see the Hulk smash next year. But next up, it's the CO2 flipper of Spawn again. And the super heavyweight Steel Scorpion with the pincing claws. And the big axe. Spawn again. Flipper. The CO2 flipper was very effective in the last wars, and it was so again in this wars. It's low to the ground, meaning it can get underneath the opposition no problem, and it can self-right if it gets thrown over. But the CO2 on board is limited, and the team have remarked about it not being all that reliable at times. Steel Scorpion. Axe Bot. A super heavyweight machine armored in 3mm steel, armed with an axe and 2 crushing pincers. We actually saw this machine back in Series 1, didn't have a lot of success, and it's apparent why with the high ground clearance and the exposed wheels.
Robot ears, stand by.
Spawn again with the CO2 powered flipper, and the super heavyweight machine Steel Scorpion with the axe, the pincing claws, and the high ground clearance.
3, 2, 1.
It's actually really good to see Steel Scorpion again. I liked the design for the machine. Well, are you sure you're super heavyweight? Because you're being flipped around like a pack of crisps, really. Like, like, I should remind people that Steel Scorpion weighs 154 kilograms, and Spawn again is throwing him around like a middleweight. So that is up and over again. They're just toying with them. This is just abuse into the pit. And that's gorgeous. Look at this. Here goes Spawn again with the flip, and they've bounced into the pit and back out again. Oh dear. Now, once again, push him to the pit. And now, spawn again to deal up and over. Oh, out they go. Interesting. So, oh, up and over. Right in, and now spawn again, skirting with me. Ah, great. And still Scorpion drives into the pit. Look at this. Spawn again, skirts death there. I don't think Steel Scorpion, they tried to do the same thing, but no real success. They almost got themselves out the pit though, so credit where credit's due. They flipped up and over again, my spawn again. And now they've thrown themselves into the pit. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. What I find entertaining is Spawn again keeps flipping them and throwing them back out of the pit, even when they've thrown them in the pit. They have a lot of sort of love affairs, like, no, we're done with this fight, we've clearly lost, let us die in peace. And Spawn again's like, no, I'm gonna play with you like a cat plays with a mouse. This is brilliant. Up goes Steel Scorpion again. Now, can Spawn again throw them out the arena? I'd assume so. It should be easy to do so. And is Steel Scorpion A-okay? I think the drive's gone. You can see how slow they're moving. They were moving a lot faster before. Flung again, not up and over. And I think this is very much the end for Steel Scorpion. There's no real drive, and there goes the axe! And that's the first time we've seen the axe come into play. We never saw it in Series 1. Now we get 2, and Steel Scorpion laying motionless. I think the batteries have gone out. They're immobilized. And Spawn again, all they've got to do really is just, well, dispose of the rubbish. I do hope Steel Scorpion enters Series 3. I want them there. And down into the pit one final time. And Spawn again to leave them there as they take the victory. A good flipping time for Spawn again. Nothing else I can really say to that other than Steel Scorpion, do come back. I genuinely do hope Steel Scorpion do come back for Series 3. Genuinely, I do like the design. It's very interesting. It would be great to see them back again. Spawn again, however, just toyed with them. Like they were not. Flipped it around like it was just a crappy paperweight. Just pure bullying. I love it. Next up, a flip lift-off between the flipper of TR2 and the lifting arm of Faust. TR2 Flipper. About as successful as they were in the last wars, the flipper is still as strong as ever with quick drive. The rear little axe thingy I don't really think does anything, if I'm being honest. However, there is a limited gas supply, meaning they need to time their flips just right. Otherwise, they'll be sitting ducks. Faust Lifter! A big, long lifting arm that doesn't actually run off CO2. How odd. The lifting arm can also be doubled as a sort of axe on anyone attacking from the rear, and it has a low wedge, but the sides are exposed, as well as the wheels.
Roboteers, stand by.
TR2 with the CO2 powered flipper and whatever that axe thingy is at the back, and Faust with the interesting lifting arm, which can double up as an axe.
3, 2, 1.
At least I think it doubles up as an axe. I'm guessing so with the two spiked blades. Well, it's definitely working as a grabber. They're stuck on the spike though, and now TR2 falling to they're jumping around like fire. Interesting. Ah, now TR2 putting some sense back into the fight, throwing Faust up and over, and again. And now for TR2 to try and get underneath Forced getting underneath TR2. The interesting thing here is Forced very low to the ground. In fact, they're so low they're able to get underneath TR2, but now TR2 throwing Forced up and over and again. But TR2 has a problem with wheeling, so it makes it easier for Forced to get underneath them. A real problem, and now flipping themselves, trying to get away, up and over. Oh, hang on, what's happened here? There's smoke! There's smoke coming from Forced! And I'm wondering, let's have a look at this again. There's the flip, and you can see, that's it! The smoke! And I think the flip from TR2 as they try to self-right has caused some serious problems. And I don't think, just to the wheel, I think the flipper's gone. The one wheel's moving, but the other isn't. They're now up and over on their weapon. I don't think there's any life in the weapon at all. It's not coming back. There's no life in the wheel, and TR2 pushing Forced down the pit, and I think they were very lucky to have won that. If not for that one instance, TR2 would have been in serious problems, but it's Forced who falls up and over, immobilized in the pit. And I bet they feel gutted, but they did a great job standing up to TR2. I think they even managed to have more control over TR2 and even get underneath them. I mean, hey, you gave us a good fight, that's what mainly matters to us. TR2 may be the winners, but no shame for Forced, they did brilliantly. Next up, it's the vertical blade of Vader, and whatever Mineshaft is. Let's have a look. Vader Spinner. A dangerous weapon attached to a machine with not so tough armor. The armor is made out of polycarbonate, and the blade is quite destructive, as we saw against Orange Swing and Decapitator in the series. But the one thing going against them? No Shremek. Mineshaft Spinner. Don't ask me what the name stands for, I haven't got the foggiest. The plow can help get underneath opponents and slam them into the walls or the pit, and the rotating blade can grind through the armor to do some serious damage. The wheels are also rather interesting in design too, which also help the machine run both ways up. As for the weaknesses, not saying much, you?
Robot ears, stand by.
Vader with the spinning flywheel and the polycarbonate armor, which won't help. And Mineshaft with the spinning drum, I think there's a spike somewhere, and a plow.
3.
I feel like this is a Destructotron almost, just
1.
if Destructotron was built to resemble Minotaur. I like the speed though. It's very quick. I approve, and it's very powerful as it's pushing away at the blade of Vader. And look at the sparks from the colliding blades. There's a lot of power behind Mineshaft as it's pushing and pinning Vader in the wall. And now Mineshaft, I think, are very I was about to say, are well and truly on top and could definitely win this, and then they do that! Look at this! It's like they had, and they've they've slid into the pit! Well, that's completely unfortunate! Mineshaft, I think they were completely dominant in that fight, and you know what? I'm gonna give the fight to Mineshaft. Yes, Vader has officially won it. They're up still. Mineshaft's in the pit. But, let's be real here. Mineshaft definitely going through. And I think I saw Vader struggling driving after Mineshaft ended up in the pit. I think one of the wheels went. Yeah, I think if Mineshaft had driven into the pit, they actually could have beaten Vader. That's why I'm giving the fight to Mineshaft. Vader may be the official winners, but let's be real here, Mineshaft, far more dominant, far more controlling, far more damaging. and far more aggressive. I do hope we see Mineshaft again, but next up, it's the CO2 flipper of Chaos 2 and the axe of Knockout. Chaos 2 Flipper. They had a very dominant heat before falling in the semi-finals. The flipper is very strong and the bot is fast and nippy, but it isn't great at shoving other machines, and there is quite a high ground clearance. Knockout! Axe Bot! Why do you have a rubber duck on board? Anyway, the axe has a very sharp point, meaning it'll be able to strike through the armor of any machine it comes across, but the wheels are exposed, and speaking of the weapon, I'm not overly sure if it really has the length to do any effective damage.
Roboteers, stand by.
Chaos 2 with the CO2 power flipper, formidable, and the nippy drive. And Knockout with the little axe and the rubber duck. And also, compared to Chaos 2, it's actually quite small.
3, 2, 1.
That's interesting, and mistimed their axe, but now Chaos 2 up and over! So, while they can right themselves, can Knockout. They're trying, but Knockout's axe, I think it's stopping them, as are the rear wedgelets. Chaos 2 coming in. Now their axe is really giving them problems, isn't it? And it's giving Chaos 2 a very easy, performance. Probably one of their more easier well, I say that. They had a rather easy performance in the heats of this series. Chaos 2 nearly had, Knockout over. Well, did they? I don't know, but Chaos 2 stuck on the spikes. They had to flip away and self-right, and they've done it again. They're definitely in trouble here. Knockout counted out and immobilized, so they are officially gone. And Chaos 2 still on the attack on Knockout. I like the design. You can see there's a KO, and they've been KO'd out the arena. They're not coming back. They are gone. And Chaos 2 nearly throw themselves down the pit. But it's Chaos 2 who claims victory. Poor Knockout. The design is interesting, I'll give them that. But sadly, it just wasn't enough. But hey, maybe they got through. It would be interesting to see Knockout return for Series 3, but who knows? That's also primarily up to the team. But from this, I think it was a rather easy victory for Chaos 2. But next up should be very interesting, as it's an all BattleBots affair from the new versus the old. Our Series 2 reigning champion, Sub-Zero with the CO2 flipper, a heavyweight, against the CO2 power flipper of the super heavyweight, Toro. Sub-Zero Flipper. They surprised the entire contest by entering as the 23rd seed and climbing all the way to the top and picking up the trophy as our new champions, making a mockery of the seedlings in the process. The flipper is extremely powerful, but it has exposed wheels and a not so great turn circle. Toro Flipper. A super heavyweight machine with a very powerful flipper. Being a super heavyweight means toppling it over is going to be extremely tricky to do, and it can right itself fairly easily. It was the reigning super heavyweight champs of BattleBots 4.0, but like all flippers, there is a limited gas supply, and that may be its only real Achilles heel.
Roboteers, stand by.
Sub-Zero with the CO2 powered flipper, and the super heavyweight machine Toro with their own CO2 powered flipper. This is going to be a very interesting fight, I feel.
2, 1.
So who will be stronger? Well, Toro flipped by Sub-Zero and trying to flip themselves off, firing their weapon to no avail, and Sub-Zero throws Toro over the pit. Interesting, does a little stopping themselves, and there's Sub-Zero. I love Sub-Zero's flips, they're awesome. And now, driving into the wall. That's not awesome. Neither is getting caught on the flipper. Oh, and that's interesting. Toro, underneath Sub-Zero, they had the chance to fire the weapon. They decided not to. Again there. Looking at this, Sub-Zero definitely the quicker of the machines. Definitely the quicker of the two. Of course, the machines. It's not like one's a machine and the other one's a cabbage. But Sub-Zero struggling to get around to the side. Interesting. Now colliding with the spike. Don't do that. How does Sub-Zero plan to get around Toro? How did they get underneath them before? They're trying to replicate that? Can they replicate that? Or are they just going to get stuck on the flame pit? I think it's the latter. Oh, no, they're free. Now, seriously, how is Sub-Zero going to get underneath Toro? And Toro, weirdly enough, Toro have not really been all that aggressive in this fight. They haven't been aggressive at all. They've not fired their weapon once for an attack. They fired it to self-right. That's about it. And there's a flip again from Sub-Zero, finally. And there another flip, and oh, almost in the pit. And you can see how this is going to end. They're trying to right themselves, and Sub-Zero, why did you right them? Let's see, you could have just nudged them in. Instead, you fire your flipper and throw them back onto their wheels. Why would you do that? That seemed really, really stupid. Now, Sub-Zero underneath Toro once again, and throwing them into the air. And Sub-Zero push. Oh! Well, there's a spike. And now, Sub-Zero to use that to their advantage and throw them again. And again, they're being buffeted by the spike. And again, Toro underneath Sub-Zero. But again, they don't fire the weapon. What's going on? Is Toro okay? Well, Sub-Zero throws Toro and onto the pit. Look at this. Great flip there. They bounce on their flipper and they land on the edge of the pit. And now Sub-Zero throws them in. And Toro has no real way of coming back from that unless Sub-Zero somehow manages to get them out. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. And they could actually do it here, and they do it. And they've just swapped places now. Sub-Zero's now in the pit. Toro rights themselves, and they're now stuck in the pit as well. Look at this. Sub-Zero comes in. Up there goes the... Oh, whoops. Down the pit they go. Lovely. And Toro stuck on top of Sub-Zero in the pit. And now they're free after Cease is called. And being buffeted by the spike as well. That was fun, I gotta admit. An impressive lineup of rookies for Series 3 with only one of them winning a fight in a major shock and surprise. But well done to our rookies, and I look forward to seeing all of them in Series 3. But until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.